Hi everyone, I'm Whitney from Sugar and Sparrow, and today I'm showing you how to make my favorite from scratch vanilla cake recipe that was created after tons of recipe testing and refining in search of the perfect vanilla cake. One that has the light and fluffy texture of box cake mix, is packed with vanilla flavor, and super easy to make. This one checks all of those boxes and has become a go-to for me and so many of my blog readers, and I hope it becomes yours too. Here are the ingredients that we'll be using: 2 3/4 cups or 290 grams of sifted cake flour, which makes the texture of this cake super soft. If you don't have cake flour on hand, I have instructions on how to make a homemade version that uses all-purpose flour or plain flour as a base. That's linked below. 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, which together give this cake the perfect rise. 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup or 170 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, 1.5 cups or 300 grams of granulated white sugar. I have 4 eggs here, but we're going to be using 2 whole eggs and then 2 egg whites at room temperature. A 1/2 cup or 120 grams of sour cream at room temperature, which makes this cake extra moist. A whole tablespoon of pure vanilla extract, which creates a beautiful vanilla flavor, and 1 cup or 240 milliliters of whole milk at room temperature. I always start by preparing my eggs since these need to come to room temperature along with the rest of the dairy ingredients. I'm cracking 2 of the eggs into this small bowl and then separating 2 of the eggs to use just the egg whites. And then I set those aside. Next, I sift the cake flour, and my preferred method is to sift it right into a bowl on my kitchen scale. This helps me weigh out the perfect amount, which is 290 grams, while sifting it. If you're measuring by cups, you'll want to sift the cake flour first before spooning that sifted cake flour into a measuring cup and leveling it off until you have 2 3/4 cups. Note that if you're using the homemade version of cake flour and you're measuring with a kitchen scale, yours will weigh closer to 365 grams of cake flour. This is because all-purpose flour weighs more than store-bought cake flour, so the same volume will weigh different amounts. Now that the cake flour has been measured into a medium bowl, I'm adding some more dry ingredients to it: baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Whisk together to combine and set this aside. When your dairy ingredients are room temperature, it's time to start the recipe. I'm placing the butter into the bowl of my stand mixer fitted with the paddle attachment and beating it on high speed for 2 minutes or until it's light and creamy. You can also use an electric hand mixer for this recipe if you don't have a stand mixer. When the butter is creamy, I add in the sugar and continue to mix on medium-high speed for another 2 minutes until the butter and sugar mixture is light and fluffy. You'll want to scrape down the bowl and paddle as needed throughout the recipe. Now I turn the mixer to low speed and add the eggs and egg whites one at a time, mixing until each one is just combined before moving on to the next one. Once those eggs and egg whites are combined, I add the sour cream and vanilla, turn the mixer to high speed, and beat for 1 full minute. After this step, the mixture will look curdled, but don't let that worry you. It will become smooth cake batter at the end. Finally, I add in the dry ingredients all at once and turn the mixer to low speed. When it just begins to look combined, I slowly pour in the milk in a steady stream. After the milk is added, I'll keep the mixer running on low speed for about 30 seconds before turning it off. Then I scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl and give it a few stirs by hand. This way you don't overmix the batter. Pour the batter evenly between 3 6-inch cake pans like I have here, or you can also bake it in 2 8-inch cake pans or 2 9-inch cake pans. Then place the cake pans into a preheated 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes. They're done when a toothpick inserted into the middle comes out clean or with just a few moist crumbs. I like to let the cakes cool in the pan for about 5 minutes before removing them from the pans and then letting them continue to cool on a wire rack for a few additional hours. Once the cakes are cooled, I like to level off the tops, which is a totally optional step, but this helps ensure each layer is the same height and perfectly even. And this gives you a sneak peek of how beautiful the texture of this cake turned out. You can pair this vanilla cake with literally any flavor of frosting or filling, but to make the ultimate vanilla cake, I'm pairing it with my favorite vanilla buttercream recipe. I'll link that below. I recently decided to update the blog post images for this recipe, and this is how I decorated the cake for the photo shoot. I frosted a smooth buttercream finish and added lots of rainbow sprinkles to make it super celebratory. Then I topped the cake with buttercream swirls that I piped with Wilton Tip 4B and added even more sprinkles. I absolutely love how it turned out. It's the perfect party cake design and it tastes just as delicious as it looks. It's fluffy yet moist, packed with vanilla flavor, and super easy to make. If you've been looking for a great from scratch vanilla cake recipe, I hope you'll give this one a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you love cake, head to my blog at sugarandsparrow.com for all of my cake recipes, decorating tutorials, and ideas for your cake making. You'll also find tons of recipe videos and tutorials on my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button while you're there so you never miss a new video from me. Thanks for watching.